Hey guys, Ryan here. And in this video, I'm going to turn a family into another family. We typically call the families that are like base families seed families. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. I'm inside this Plumbing Pro template that we sell on our website. And I'm going to show you how to quickly get a new plumbing fixture or plumbing equipment from one of these existing seed families. So I'm going to decide which family I want. So we have different origin points. This one has the origin point in the middle. This one has the origin point in the back, which I think is kind of nice for when you're putting things on walls. So I'm going to use this one. And I like the idea that it's instance-based because people can just quickly resize this thing to anything they want for like one piece of equipment, specifically a booster pump. So I'm going to make this a booster pump. We're just going to go to Edit Family. And all the seed families start as generic models. That's just what I did. So we can quickly change that by going up to family category and parameters. And we'll just change this to plumbing equipment. We have some settings down here. Everything looks good. That looks great. And then I want the connectors to be on each side because I want the water to come into it and then go out of it. So I'm going to add some connectors. So we'll go to Create, Pipe Connector. I'm going to place it on a face. And we'll select the face. You got to kind of hover around until you get the right one. There it is. And then we'll click. And we'll click on the connector and we'll change the diameter. We probably need to link this to a parameter. So I'm going to add a new parameter, and it's going to be a shared parameter. I'm going to select it. And we already have our shared parameters here. And I'm going to go to plumbing equipment. You can see I have this S fixture connection size cold water, but that's actually not what I want to use. Let's just make it a family parameter. And I'm trying to decide if I want to make it type versus instance. Since the grips allow you to size it per the instance, it might be nice to just have the diameter right here. So I'm just going to do cold water diameter, and we're just going to make an instance for this family in particular. So it's right here. Click OK. And then we'll set that cold water parameter by going up here to the family types button. We have type 1 here. And let's just make this 2 inches out of the box. All right, so we got our little connector. I'm going to go to the other side. So this one needs to be in, and it also needs to be, so let's make it in. It's not going to be calculated. It's going to be, actually, it will be calculated. What am I talking about? So it's going to be in. We'll change the system classification to domestic cold water, and we're going to leave the flow alone and hit apply. Then I'm going to create another one on this side. So we're going to go to create pipe connector. Just going to hover into all these sides. The last one worked. And then since we already created that parameter, we'll set it to the same cold water diameter parameter right there. And this one will be out. And it will also be calculated because all of the fixtures are going to determine the GPM of this booster pump, which is kind of weird. We'll select domestic cold water. So it's calculated out. That looks good. And then the last thing we would probably need to do is set a parameter to the flow of this right here. So the flow here is going to be calculated, but we have to still set a parameter to it. For now, I'm just going to call this calculated flow, and it has to be an instance. That's the one thing that you might get wrong because it's calculated, so it's going to change depending on the actual calculated flow. So we're just going to call it that for now, and then we're just going to set this one equal to calculated flow. I think this should work. So that's pretty much it. It's plumbing equipment. That seems like it's gonna work. All right, we're gonna load this into the project. Oh, first we got to save it as. So file, save as, family. So it's generic plumbing equipment, back origin instance. Sure. We'll load it into the project and close. RevX Pro warehouse. Can't load it into this view, of course. So we'll go to this view. And then I'm just gonna place this over here next to this booster pump. Or we'll place it under here. So I'm going to go something like this. We'll call this generic plumbing equipment. And then we'll add that family that we just created. So we can do a search, generic plumbing equipment, and hit next. There you can see it's right there. So we'll expand this and get type 1 there and drag it in. So now we have this little piece of equipment. And you can see we have our in and our outlets. So that's looking good. We can stretch this thing anywhere we want. We can make it nice and big so everything's working. And then if we want to change the height, we actually have to change the height right here. And we have our cold water diameter right here. that we can change. And so if we update this to 1 inch, you could see that these both update to 1 inch. And now let's test this thing. So I'm going to go to Systems, Pipe, and we're going to use some MP Standard here. I'm going to use some 2-inch piping, even though I changed that, didn't I? And we'll click on this. Although I don't know the elevation, so I'm actually going to select the fixture or the plumbing equipment and go from here. And that way it goes straight out. We have to select the same pipe, and then we'll go here, and then we'll go up to 10 feet, and we'll go over just like that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'll click here, and we'll go this way, and then let's go up to 10 feet as well, and we'll go this way. So we know that's coming in, and this is going out. And then let's select, or let's put a fixture on here so we can double check this. So I'm going to create similar here, and we're going to put a little fixture on here. I'm going to put it right there for now, and then we'll align it to here, just like that. I got to change this little grippy thing. I'm going to move this actually. So I'll move it from here to that midpoint, and then we'll just back it off and make that connection just like that. Oops, I went to the wrong one. I have a bunch of different connectors on there. All right, that looks good. We can also look at this in a 3D view. That might be cool. So if we select it and hit this little button, there you can see we got our booster pump and we got our fixture here. First thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our piping is set to the correct system calculation. So if we go to the piping system, we're going to make sure it's flush valve. So that is correct. So that looks good. All right. So now we're going to check to make sure this booster pump is working. All right. So if I click on my piping, let me just hide this real quick. All right. If I click on my pipe, we should have some flow in here. So you can see that the flow is 27 GPM for this flush valve water closet. Okay, that looks good. We have 10 fixture units in it. All right, so then this guy should read that 27 GPM. Now, right there, so calculated flow is 27. And then remember, we set the flow of this connector equal to the flow of this connector. So this point right here should also be 27. Okay, it's not. So something is wrong. All right, so this is in. This should be out. So let's edit this family. Let's make sure our out is out. So it's set to out. Should be set to calculated. Okay, that looks good. And then this one is set to in, calculated. Oh, that's what we did wrong, maybe. Maybe this needs to be preset. And then if we go to flow equals, calculated flow, and that way, this one's going to read the incoming flow from all of the fixtures, and then this one's just going to be equal to that. So we needed to set this to preset. All right, we're going to load into the project and close. Hit OK. Yeah, we'll save it. Sure. Overwrite the existing and its parameter value. I'm going to just overwrite the existing. And now let's check to make sure that this is working. Look at this. It's working. We have a flow of 27 GPM. So now we have this little booster pump or whatever it needs to be, and it totally does work with the flow, coming inside of it and then going out. Or sorry, you know what I'm saying. All right, let me add some more fixtures, make sure this thing is definitely working. So let's go ahead and add a couple more, something like this, and we'll delete that. Let's move these over a little bit so I can get my pipe down going. And then we'll just go draw a pipe, go down to 2 feet, and we'll go across here. Let's give it a little more space to make those connections. And then we'll just use connect into. I have this horizontal connector right here, and then connect into horizontal, boop. And you can also just go from the connector right here, it's way up here, and connect into it like that. All right, that looks good. Make sure I'm using the right pipe type. And now we should have a little bit more flow in this thing. So we got 42 GPM, and then we should have 42 GPM over here. Look at that, boom.
Yeah.